a lot about the sort of themes, what kind of experiences are coming in your door, I suppose, when it comes to assessments and talking to mothers who have come to see you at Mothers Helpers. What other sorts of things are you seeing? Not necessarily specific to motherhood, but just kind of with regards to mental health?
Separation. I've been
Yeah.
working on a couple of clients in separation recently. I think that comes as part of motherhood as well, but it's definitely tied into mental health. So that's a pretty big one. It comes up quite a lot. Returning to work, not just so much, and I know that's connected to motherhood, but also just that impact it has, the job hunting and your self-worth and putting yourself out there after a break in the employment. And so I've had a lot of conversations recently about job hunting as a mother. And I think that's really interesting in how, a job, when you are declined a job, how that impacts you. And is that something you take personally? Because you have put yourself out there, and then when you're expected to just take that on the chin. So
Yeah. And I remember returning to work was quite, that's a big thing, I think, for mothers, especially depending on how long they've been out of the workforce. I just remember how vulnerable and emotionally, I mean, I just remember my confidence was really shaken after being at home with my little boy. Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, all you think you know is babies. You're like, I forgot all my useful work skills. I just know how to change nappies.
Yeah. And Leah, other things you've mentioned? IVF has been one lately, and any other sort of
two things. So in regards to what you just said, Gena, I think as mums are having children maybe a bit later in life, to the experience of having achieved a lot in their career and feeling really productive in terms of what they do in their day, and then moving into motherhood, but she could feel like you are just, I describe it as just doing circles around my children. And I just circle them all day. I don't even know what I did, but I walked around in circles around them. But the feeling of I'm hearing a lot of stories, and I can resonate that I used to have this career, I used to achieve, I used to feel really positive about who I was in the world, and now I am home and not accomplishing anything except for feeding, and I'm not even doing that well because I can't breastfeed, and I'm not even, my house is a mess, and so I'm not even looking after the house, and I'm not there for my partner, and this sense of not producing or being achieving. And that's really hard, I think, when you have been a mom or a human who's had a lot of success. So
and I think just that is really important to say that sometimes we, for example, go in expecting I'm going to stay at home with the baby for X amount of time, and then it actually doesn't work that well for us necessarily, or the opposite. I'm going to go back to work, in 6 months' time, and then that comes along, or 12 months' time, that comes along, and then there's this real like feeling like you're being ripped away from your heart type thing. So sometimes we have to revisit that, and be kind of a bit more open-minded about how that's going to work. Because for me personally, I think I stayed at home with my son for ages, and honestly, in hindsight, it didn't really work for me. I was lucky in the sense that I sort of had a sort of a side hustle, if you like. So it kind of kept my brain going. And then I started Mothers Helpers, obviously, eventually. So that's the thing. I couldn't, for me, it was too, it felt like Groundhog Day, and it felt like it went on forever and ever. And I just it really wasn't what worked for me. And I wanted to be there for him, but I also needed my own brain stimulation. So, and we're all so different. We're all very, very different. Like, my sister-in-law had 6 children, and she stayed home for each one of them, and she's, she kind of modeled this amazing kind of example of that, but that's not who I am. That's actually, and it's okay to be different. Yeah.
Definitely is a need for expanding the flexibility and what do you need as a mom that could be very different than what somebody else needs as a human and mother. But so that came to mind, and the other one was just how many migrants we work with that have come from other countries who for the last really 3 years have been really isolated from their extended families, and I'm one of them, being from overseas, and how the huge impact that we've all experienced not being able to connect and travel easily or have loved ones visit. Particularly when new babies are born, that's often when extended family comes, and I have seen that to be a real challenge for a lot of our moms who haven't been able to access the support of their extended families, and have then therefore had to look to community supports that haven't been there. So
I
see that has been, there's a lot of fallout in regards to that, where mums and families are raising children and babies independent of supports that they might have had in years past.